Hi, it's Super Bowl Sunday, and this is Andy XL back with another NFXL podcast and time to preview Super Bowl 60. So 30 teams have fallen by the wayside, leaving just two to compete in the end of season spectacular in Santa Clara on Sunday. And we're going to get to see two teams who did not make the postseason last season battle it out to lift the Lombardi Trophy. This for me is going to be a terrific game and it's going to be really close. I think this could be an absolute classic Super Bowl, and I'm really excited to watch it. But what I think it might be is a case of defenses coming out on top, but I'll get back to that. So let's have a look at where the two teams are going to look to get that vital edge that can make them this season's champions. Let's start with the Seattle Seahawks pass offense versus the Patriots pass defense. Overall, the Seahawks ranked 12th for pass offense this season, but two things could undermine their efforts in this area. Firstly, Sam Darnold has thrown 14 picks this season, which ranks 26th in the league. Secondly, they're hugely reliant on Jackson Smith and Jigba. Smith and Jigba accounted for 44% of the Seahawks' receiving yardage in the regular season, and his 10 touchdowns were 40% of the season's total touchdowns for his team. On top of Darnold's 14 picks, he's also coughed up 12 fumbles, and he's had 13 games with multiple turnovers this season in 19 outings. He can't afford to have that sort of game here. So can the Patriots' 12th ranked pass defense force Darnold to make errors and limit Jackson Smith and Jigba's production? If they can, they will have gone a long way to turning this game in the Patriots' favour. In terms of pressure from the pass rush, the Seahawks O-line has done a good job of protecting Darnold, allowing him to be sacked just 27 times. And the Patriots have managed to sack the opposing quarterback 34 times. So that would suggest that Darnold is not going to get pressured a huge amount in this game. So really, it's going to be coverage that might cause him issues rather than pass pressure, pass rush pressure, I should say. And the Pats D has not been great at generating interceptions either, ranking 18th in the league with 10 this season. 7 of those came from safety Jalen Hawkins and cornerback Marcus Jones. The other 3 coming from the inside linebacker position. With a safety and nickelback and inside linebackers featuring prominently in those numbers, Darnold needs to be careful when targeting tight ends and receiving backs, and also when in third and long passing down territory, which is where I think if the errors are going to come, that's where they might come. If the Patriots can force Seattle into third and long, they could be in business. Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis will man the corners and may see most of Jackson Smith and Jigba, although they'll look to get him on Marcus Jones because he did do plenty against Jones in previous games. How much they match up certainly will be a key to this game. The Patriots allowed the lowest yardage to wide receivers this season, but did allow the joint seventh most touchdowns to them. Only Drake London in week 9 and Emeka Egbuka in week 10 have been wide receivers that have managed 100 yards and a touchdown in games against the Patriots this season. So Smith and Jigba will need to be at his best to be the third to do so in the biggest game of all. The Patriots have also been good against receiving backs, but have given up yardage to tight ends. But as I said earlier, that is the area the Pats tend to go pick hunting. Overall, I think the Patriots defense have the edge here, especially if they can get the Seahawks into third and long situations. So let's have a look at the Seahawks run offense now against the Patriots run defense. With Zach Charbonnet out, Kenneth Walker will carry the load with some assistance from George Halani. With Walker and Charbonnet in tandem, the Seahawks had the ninth ranked run offense this season. But without Charbonnet, that has to be see that ranking slip more towards being middle of the league territory. And Walker and Lani will coming up against the fifth ranked Patriots run defense, who were the third toughest opponents for opposing running backs to face. Chase Brown in week 12, James Cook in week 15, Derek Henry in week 16, and Breece Hall in week 17 were the running backs to have 100-yard rushing games against the Patriots this season. So as with Jackson Smith and Jigba as a receiver, Walker will do well to do so in this game. Although it is worth noting that a few of those have come towards the end of the season, but the Patriots defense have really stepped up in the postseason, so flip-flop on that one. Overall, then, the Patriots defense look well capable of keeping this Seahawks offense in check. And if they do get them to plenty of third and long scenarios, that's where, as I said before, I think the turnovers could come their way. Hawkins and Jones in particular could profit from that outcome. Patriots pass offense now. Let's look at what they can do against the Seahawks pass defense. So, what can the Pats do offensively against Seattle? This Seattle defense has been really good all season, so it's going to be a tough night as well for the Patriots offense. It could be. They had the fourth-ranked pass offense this season, though, but did allow Drake May to be sacked 47 times. May only threw 8 picks this season, but did fumble 14 times, including 6 in the first 2 games of his postseason career. So pass pressure is something the Seahawks can look to get at. May had 7 multiple turnover games, which compares to the 13 Darnold had, nearly half the amount. But fumbles have been an issue for him in those recent games. The Seahawks had the 8th-ranked pass defense and ranked 5th for picks with 18 interceptions. But given May's low pick numbers, it may be getting to him via the pass rush and those fumbles that is the best way to generate turnovers. The Seahawks also have 47 sacks this season, exactly the same number that Patriots have given up. So this is a definite possibility here. Left tackle has definitely been an issue for the Patriots, so the Seahawks may well target May's blindside in this game. The Seahawks allowed plenty of passing yardage to running backs, so Ramondre Stevenson and TreVeyon Henderson may well be used to take advantage of that possible weakness. Similar is true of tight ends, and the Patriots have Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper, 2 experienced tight ends to utilise in that area. But wide receivers have struggled against the Seahawks this season, and the running backs have not had much joy scoring receiving touchdowns either. So if the Patriots are to score passing touchdowns, it could be the tight ends that get them. To prevent those sacks and potential fumbles, may need to get the ball out of his hands quickly. So a short passing game could be the best plan for them to do so. So what about the Patriots' run offense versus the Seahawks' run defense? The Patriots' 5th-ranked run offense faces the Seahawks' 4th-ranked run defense. So this is very good versus very good. And if one team can win in this area, it could be a huge swing factor in determining who ends up winning this game. The Seahawks were the toughest matchup for opposing running backs this season, only allowing 5 rushing touchdowns all season, and the 3rd lowest rushing yardage to them too. Drake may be able to offer some support as a runner, but it would be a surprise if he had a big game on the ground. The Patriots have had 15 games with 100 yards rushing or more, and have done so in 6 of their last games. The Seahawks have conceded 100 rushing yards or more 9 times this season. So on balance, the Patriots may well get to that 100 rushing yard mark in this game, but getting scores on the ground is going to be the tough part. For the Patriots to overcome this Seattle defense, their tight ends via the pass and running backs on the ground in terms of yardage, and also the running backs may have to get into the end zone, and they certainly need to avoid May getting sacked and hit all game to allay that fumble risk that comes with it. So that's the offenses and defenses. Now, in what could be a close game, and with both these teams having special teams abilities, special teams could be crucial here. So let's start by looking at the kickers. Now, Jason Myers, the Seahawks kickers, is 41 of 48 for field goals this season. Not bad overall, but he's just 22 of 27 beyond 40 yards. So unless the Seahawks get down into the red zone, he's not great beyond that mark. So bit iffy there. But the same could be said for the Patriots kicker, Andres Borregales. He was 27 of 32 for field goals. Now, he was 4 of 4 beyond 50 yards, so all these misses have come under 50 yards, which is what you might expect for a rookie, some inconsistency. But what you have to say is neither team's kicker is completely reliable, but Borregales may have the greater range. On punting side of things, Michael Dixon has had another fine season for the Seahawks, but Bryce Baringer was more mid-league in terms of ranking, so there's a clear advantage there. And when it comes to field position, that extra 10 or 20 yards can make a huge difference. So there's an edge there for the Seahawks. With Rashid Shaheed for the Seahawks and Marcus Jones again getting a mention for the Patriots, being amongst the best kick returners in the league for both these two teams, in what looks to be a close game, a big play from one of those two and field position, as I say, could be vital. If either of those two can somehow, Shaheed or Jones, can get a score on a kick return, could be huge. The Seahawks, courtesy of Dixon, like I say, I think they have the edge in terms of punting the ball. But if either of these kick returners could add to that brace of returns, touchdowns they've got this season, 2 each they've had, that could decide who wins it. So, as I say, I think this is going to be an absolutely great game where both defences look likely to get the better of the opposing offence. And as such, turnovers and special teams look even more likely to be decisive in this game than they are in most games. If either offense is to have the edge, I would give the Patriots more chance of doing so. And I also think the Seahawks and Darnold in particular are more likely to turn the ball over. Special teams, though, is a slight edge for the Seahawks. So that's looked at the teams, and I'll come back to my final conclusion on who's going to win it at the end. But let's have a look at MVP. Now, quarterbacks tend to dominate this award, and tend to only have to play above average to win it. But they've not been as dominant as I thought, and you may think. In the last 10 years, 7 quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers, and an edge rusher have won the award. In the last 20 years, that pattern repeats itself with 14 quarterback winners, 4 wide receivers, and 2 edge rushers. So there's about a 70% chance that a quarterback wins it. But there's also wide receivers and edge rushers to come into it. Only 3 positions then really should be considered as possible winners on this basis. But for me, as I said, where a game where defenses might come out on top, this has a look of a game where a quarterback may not win it. And I might come back to it later, but the special teamers could come into it as well. If it's a quarterback, I think May would be the most likely to do so, as he does not have an outstanding receiver to take the limelight from him. He's going to share the wealth around, as it were. Whereas if Darnold has big numbers in this game, Jackson Smith and Jigba may be the one to dominate those stats. So the vote could be split between Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba in that scenario. The kick returners, as I say, especially Shaheed as a wide receiver, because if he gets anything on the receiving end and then does something on special teams as well, he's probably the better candidate for MVP of those. But Marcus Jones, and the cornerbacks haven't won it, but if he gets something going, say he gets a pick or 2, and then he does something on a kick return, he could be a long shot worth considering. And the other ones that look at on offense, Hunter Henry, maybe Austin Hooper, but more Hunter Henry as the leading Patriots touchdown scorer this season and from the position most likely to get scores against the Seahawks. He might be worth a look if you want a little wager on MVP too. With the poor track record of running backs winning this, and it likely to be tough sledding for all of them in this game, I'm a seller on all of their performances. So if you get any propositions about running backs, go on the low side. They probably pitched it there anyway, but so both teams seem to share their sacks around, and the Patriots have got Harold Landry questionable for this game as well. So I can't really pick out any edge rusher here to dominate. So that's me look at MVP. So, sorry, excuse my voice. Who's going to win the game? Who is going to be the Super Bowl champions? Who do I think is going to win? Well, I'm going to take the Patriots, but it's going to be close, and it could come down to that field position, red zone efficiency, which is where I think the Patriots might just have an edge, and also special teams. But I'm going to take the Patriots to upset the Seahawks again and win this by 24-20. So that's how I see the Super Bowl panning out tonight. Coming weeks, look out now. After this is all done and dusted and the season's finished, I'm going to start giving a state of the franchise address for all of the 32 teams, starting from the lowest in the standings up to the top. Whoever wins tonight's game will be last done. So they'll be coming out on a regular basis, at least one a day for the coming weeks. And then I'll switch into draft mode, which, like I say, is my real area of strength. If you want to know what's going to happen in the NFL draft and who's going to go where, not to what teams necessarily, but what area of the draft they're likely to get taken in, stay tuned to my updates pre the draft. But as I say, I'll start with my state of the franchise addresses, and I'll give you my top 75 draft prospects at the moment as well. So look out for all of that coming in the next week or so. And the team ones, they'll probably drag on for a couple of weeks. When I say drag on, they won't drag on because they're really interesting. There's a lot to read in there. It's basically what teams need to do to improve on their efforts of this season or to stay at the level they're at for the top runners. Right. enjoy tonight's game. Like I say, I think it's going to be a superb game. And if you like defense, you're going to love it. All right. Enjoy tonight's game, and I'll see you soon.